Senator Tillis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Collins, thank you for being here. You and I have a lot in common. We were both born in August, you 6 years after me. We both entered state legislature at the same time in 2007 in two different states. And you got a sister that was born in the same hospital that both of my babies were born in. Am I right? You also have the benefit of me tracking, since I lived in Atlanta for about 4 years, tracking Georgia politics. You were a very good, solid, reasonable congressman, so I know all I need to know about supporting your nomination. I know you've said multiple times you're not going to privatize the VA. You're not forcing veterans out. You've done that. I think you were sworn in testimony. So would you just do a pinky swear, too, that you're not going to privatize the VA? Here we go.
We got
okay, good. Air pinky swear. So the reason that's important is that some people, not everybody, I think that Senator Sanders is genuine and has concerns. But, folks, there is let me just say again what I've said every time, privatization and forcing veterans out of the VA to seek private care. There is no serious discussion among lawmakers to do that. Now, is there one, and by serious discussion, I mean that could ever see the light of day? I have very few skills. One of them is counting votes. There is simply not enough to even consider it a threat. And the reason why I hit this head on is there are veterans who could be led to believe that that's a risk. It is not a risk. You don't have to come to Washington because a vote is imminent. The VA is one of the largest healthcare system in the United States. It does a lot of things good, and in many cases, it does it better than the private care providers could ever imagine because of the unique status it has, in many cases, veterans serving veterans. So again, thank you for that pinky swear. Now let's move on to the unpleasant part of my discussion. Has nothing to do with you. I have supported every VA nominee who's come before this committee. And I supported the Secretary of the VA when I came in the Obama administration. I've had a great working relationship up to and including with Secretary McDonough. I have concerns, even some that date back to VA Secretary Wilkie, who was my MLA before he went on to be a VA Secretary. The implementation of the electronic health record is a bipartisan, multi-administration disaster. There is no way on God's green earth that we should have spent $10 billion to have only a fraction of the VISNs even touched. So do I have your commitment to go through that program to quickly get it moving again and get an integrated health chart that also can integrate with the DOD so that we can finally have a seamless transition from active status or reserve status to veteran status and provide premium care at the VA?
Yes, Senator Tillis, for the very reason of this, is what you just said about seamless care is actually a safety and security issue for my veterans.
It absolutely it is. The electronic health record, I've got a real problem. We need to have a review. I don't know if it's an Inspector General's report or something else, but folks, I did large-scale systems implementation work for the vast majority of my career. I've done that more than I've done being a U.S. Senator or a state representative. This is a disaster. And I would like the people involved, not only the contractors, but having been the contractor before, my guess is it's rooted in bureaucracy and people responsible for the implementation within the VA not doing it right. So will you commit to me to doing a project review? I'll come to your turf to do it.
Yeah, we're looking forward to the project review. This, for me, has been one of the, when first looking at it, how, only up here would this allow to go on as long as it had. Okay. So, look, I'm putting on notice today that I'm committed to everyone here. We're going to bring everyone to the table. That's vendor, that's VA, everybody in the middle, and figure out what this problem is, because it's time to fix it.
Well, I'd love to be at the table when you have some of those discussions, to be honest with you, and lend you some free consulting advice. Last thing I want to leave you with, because I say it in most of the hearings, I did not vote for the PACT Act, in spite of the fact that my office was responsible for the formulation of the TEAM Act that was in that bill, which was to provide care to warriors who were exposed to toxics, and also the Camp Lejeune Toxics Act, which my colleague, Senator Sullivan, has been trying to work to reduce the compensation. I didn't vote for it because I was absolutely convinced it was going to be where it is today. It's a $700 billion between mandatory and discretionary spending, unfunded bill that got out of the oven too soon. And now we know you've got shortfalls that you're going to have to fix in the billions of dollars because we didn't take the time to actually get the PACT Act right. I hate it, not being able to vote for that bill. But I voted against it because we promised out of this committee that we would fix it before it got a vote on the floor. Now we got to fix it, and you can count me as somebody that will be helpful.
Thanks, Senator. I look forward to that because that is going to be one of the first issues we got to tackle from the budgetary standpoint. But also, and I will, say to the committee, and we've talked about this in many of your offices, I'm also looking ahead to the Elizabeth Dole Act and actual implementation and implementation cost on it. I think it's something we've got to take care of, but it's got an implementation cost as well.
Thank you.
Senator Hassan.